So this is what you don't want to appear on the screen on your Jaguar XF. Essentially the background to this engine systems fault was I've been driving along the A12 and then it comes to needing to change lanes or overtake, change speed, and with a reasonably heavy prod of the throttle, the engine hesitated slightly, and I took my foot off the gas almost immediately, and this engine systems fault came up on the screen. It's actually put me into a reduced power mode as well, and although the car is, as you can see and hear, running absolutely fine and will rev, it's way down on power. Now if you switch the engine off and then switch it back on again, the engine systems fault goes away. This has happened before, in fact yesterday, and I thought I'd actually film it and go through the diagnostics and sort the problem out. You'll find that if you keep your foot in it, when the engine systems fault comes on, it will cough and splutter and the engine will actually cut out, and then you'll end up coasting to the side of the road. I tried that to see if it would sort of get over itself, and it doesn't. It stalls, and if you then try and restart the engine, you'll find that it'll just turn over for about 10 seconds and won't start. You then switch off the ignition completely, leave it for a few seconds, put it back on again, and the engine will start and run normally. But again, fall back into the same into this same engine systems fault if you attempt to boot the throttle once again. You'll find that if you keep doing it, or if you keep your foot down on the throttle when this is sort of starting to come on, you might also get the yellow engine warning light, check engine warning light as well, which you'll see later on in the video that I have. So we'll hook up SDD and find out what the code is, and hopefully diagnose the problem, and we'll go through that in the following video. So what I've got here is SDD, so I'm just going to do what it says, and here we are, collecting a bit of data about the car. If you want to have an overview of SDD and how to connect to it, have a look at one of my other videos of that title. We'll just let this collect the data, and then hopefully we'll see why that check engine light's on. So here we are. We want to enter session. And again, we want to go on diagnosis, and it's going to have a look over the car and check the various systems, and then we'll see what's what. So you get something like this when the car has finished being quizzed. So here I am in diagnostic trouble codes. I've actually clicked on selected symptoms. Engine cuts out while hot, but there's nothing for that. So if you just click on unrelated events, that will show you all the diagnostic trouble codes, and as we've got here, fuel rail system pressure too low on a couple of occasions here, and this is what has it says it's intermittent, it's not present currently. but this is what has triggered my engine warning light. To get more information about these trouble codes, you simply click on the information button here, and it's PCM P0087, and if you're using a simple code reader tool, this is what you get. It tells you fuel rail system pressure too low, and then possible causes are listed here: low fuel, fuel gauge sender unit, fuel rail pressure sensor, fuel lines restricted, fuel lines leaking, fuel pump failure, blah 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 blah. You can then go on to recommendations, and as you scroll down, one of them is clear all stored diagnostic trouble codes. So having found out what the issue was, we can simply run that. Click continue. Is ignition on? Yes, it is. Please ensure communication device is connected. Continue. And it says clearing trouble codes, and our engine warning light has now gone off. So I'll have to go very easy on the gas if there's a restricted fuel flow until I get my new fuel filter and install it. Notice that when you're doing your diagnostics, the stereo and various instruments will flash, and the stereo will crackle a little bit like that. Usually does it about 3 or 4 times. So the next step is to open up the workshop manual and find the part number for the fuel filter and order it up from a reasonable supplier. So let's find the page. So this is a useful diagram. This is the fuel tank and lines on the 3-litre diesel, which is my car. Essentially component number 2 is the fuel filter, and that's located in the engine bay. So we'll find the specific details. So we're looking at the relevant page here. This is the fuel filter with the pipes labelled. This comes from the tank essentially. The centre pipe here is the air bleed, and this is the fuel filter itself. You'll recognise this air box when you lift the bonnet, and there's a bulkhead here for reference. So the fuel filter should just be tucked away down there. So these appear to be the removal steps of the fuel filter. Remove this clip from the pipes, and then they're basically squeeze connectors, and they slot off the top. If we go to the next page, take off these pipes as shown to leave you with the fuel filter here, which should just slot up out of the bracket. Then says here how to remove the bracket from the canister and the moisture sensor at the bottom. And then lift the fuel filter out of the strap. It says make sure the fuel filter is correctly aligned. There appears to be an alignment mark just here. This would appear to be important. After you've replaced the fuel filter, you have to bleed the low pressure fuel system, and this basically says to switch on the ignition for 10 seconds only, and then switch it off without starting the car, and do that 4 times in total, and that should bleed the system. This is the detail. Sorry. This is the detail. 15 seconds between each cycle to allow it to prime itself correctly. I do that 4 times, and then you should be good to go.
So I've got this new fuel filter. It's a reasonable make, and I think Delphi make the ones for Jaguar. The part number is C2Z8780, made in Great Britain. Goodness. So here we've got the fuel filter. Orientation is marked. There's also this mark that was referred to in the workshop manual, and the water trap there. So we'll get the old one off the car and pop this one on. Incidentally, if you've got one of these are great for working on the car in these sort of winter months. It's an LED light bar, and it has a spring-loaded thing that clips underneath the bonnet. So I'll just pop that on. So this is the light bar in place, and as you can see, it illuminates the area that we're going to be working on. Lovely. This is on the as you sit in the car on the left hand side, on the inside edge of the suspension turret. In terms of fuel, this is from the fuel tank. This goes to the engine, and these are from the cooler, I think, and they return from the injectors. So we've got to remove these, keep them clean. You don't want dirt getting in there because it'll foul the injectors. And then once these are free, we can start to get the canister off. So all I've done here is just pop off the pipes, and you can see the orientation is like that. So I'm going to offer up the new filter after having removed this little screw here. This is a Torx T20 that just screws in here, so take that out. So here we are, and once you get the canister out, there's this little connector. You just push on the metal bar, and then that will slide off the bottom like so. Well, a little bit more difficult than that, but I've already freed it up, and you can see made, in fact this is probably the original item, made by Delphi for Jaguar. So we will get rid of that and put the new one in. You have to transfer over this sensor, of course, first. So when you remove this screw threaded sensor, this is the water and fuel sensor, a lot of diesel will come out. I put a funnel under it here. You can see the colour of this manky diesel with particulates and God knows what in it that's come out of the filter, when diesel from the pump isn't that colour. So we'll open up this filter if possible in a minute and have a look inside, but we'll just pop the new one in first. Of course, screw this on before you connect up. So there we are, all assembled at the end. Don't forget to put your clip back on. Nut is in, water sensor is connected, and I think we're all done. What I'm going to do is just leave the bonnet open, and we'll go and do the procedure for filling this back up with fuel. So we're inside the car. The recommended procedure is that we switch on the ignition, and the fuel pump will run for 10 seconds before shutting itself down to protect itself. So without our foot on the brake pedal, so no feet, just switch the ignition on. I'll turn the climate control off so that it's not starting and stopping. There we go. So we're supposed to leave it for about 15 seconds, then switch the ignition off. Okay, and then we repeat the procedure. Ignore my dash cam beeping. There we go. As you can see, it's 1 degree outside, And what I'll do is just have a look at the viscosity of different diesels in another video, I think, and just see if there's actually a difference between my preferred main brand diesel and perhaps the supermarket stuff with more biodiesel in it. So we'll switch that off. And third time. Okay, we'll let that run for 10 seconds. And you can hear the low whir of the fuel pump in the background. So I think we're there or thereabouts there. Switch off. And the final time. Okay, fuel pump still running. There we go, and so what we'll do is we'll attempt to start the car now. Of course my engine warning light will be on because this has been a problem all the way to work and back, so I'll have to reset my engine warning light. So foot on, press the button, there we go, perfect. It's complaining the bonnet's open, of course, and my check engine warning light's on. That's no problem, I'll reset that. Just checking in here with the engine running that there are no leaks and that these have been seated properly. All appears to be well on here, so we're happy to switch off the lights and close the bonnet and go for a drive. So we're just going to take a hacksaw to this and have a look inside and see what state it's in. Bear in mind this car was has a full main dealer service history. This could be, I suppose, a replaced item, but it looks sufficiently grubby to me that it's probably the one that came with the car. But let's have a look inside and see if this has been changed in the last 30,000 miles or so. Okay, so we've cut the filter in half. Look at the colour of this stuff that's inside here. Unbelievable. And this is the paper cartridge, which would have started off, you know, pale yellow, I would imagine. Look at the colour of that. 30,000 miles worth of filtration? I don't think so. I would speculate that the Jaguar dealers have just not bothered to change it because it's, you know, 40 quid's worth of parts, and they'd rather have that on their bottom line. That's awful. So not surprised that the car was not able to breathe properly. I've just been out for a blast in it and can confirm in fact that it's working fine. I've had it flat out in sport mode. There's no more engine warning lights, no more stalling, and in fact it goes like a rocket. So if you're getting these sorts of symptoms, then change your fuel filter, and if it looks like this, change your mechanic as well. Hope you found that video useful, and as always, thanks for watching.